All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever wondered what's the real difference between a pretty good software team and a truly elite one? I'm talking about the kind of teams that operate at a scale that just seems, well, impossible.
I mean, just look at Netflix. They're deploying over 1,000 times a day. No, that is not a typo. Every single day, 1,000 changes hit their massive global infrastructure. And if you think that's wild, check out Amazon. They deploy a new change every 11.7 seconds. This isn't just about being fast, you guys. It's a completely different, way more resilient way of doing things.
So the big question is, how is this even possible with zero downtime? Well, the secret is all about mastering two key concepts, CICD and GitOps. And here's the really cool part for some of you. Once you get this, you've basically mastered the final domain for the KCNA exam. Seriously, after this explainer, you will have 100% of the exam content locked down.
Okay, but here's the first thing we need to clear up because it trips everyone up. CI/CD and GitOps, they are not the same thing. Yeah, they're related, but they represent a totally different philosophy.
And this right here is the core difference. Think of it like this. A traditional CI/CD pipeline pushes changes into your Kubernetes cluster. But GitOps, it has a little agent inside the cluster that pulls changes from Git. This whole push versus pull model, that's the key to everything. And we're about to break it all down. So before we get all hyped up about the pull model with GitOps, we've got to understand the push model it's built on. So first up, let's talk CI/CD, because honestly, it's the foundation for any modern software team.
All right, continuous integration, or CI. It's really all about answering one simple question. Does the new code actually work? So a developer pushes some code, and that kicks off a whole automated process. It builds the code, packages it up into a container, and runs a bunch of tests. The team gets super fast feedback, either a green light to keep going or a big red flag that says, hey, go fix this.
Okay, so once CI gives the thumbs up, you move on to the CD part. And here's another super important distinction. Continuous delivery means everything's automated right up to production, but a human still has to click that final go button. Continuous deployment, and this is what the elite teams do, gets rid of that manual step completely. The pipeline is fully automated all the way into production.
And you've probably seen a bunch of these tools around. You've got Jenkins, the original super flexible workhorse. GitHub Actions and GitLab CI are built right into their platforms, which makes them really easy to get started with. And then there's Tekton, which is the totally Kubernetes-native way to build pipelines. These are basically the engines that power all this automation. And hey, if you're ready to leave manual deployments in the dust, let me know in the comments. Just type "no more manual." All right, so if CI/CD is so awesome, why do we even need something else, right? Well, that classic push model has two pretty big problems. First, your CI server needs to have powerful admin-level credentials to your cluster, which is a huge security risk. And second, the live state of your cluster can drift away from what's in your config files, and that leads to all kinds of nasty surprise failures. And this is where the GitOps pull model swoops in to save the day.
So the very first principle of GitOps is that your system's desired state has to be expressed declaratively. Now, if you've ever written a Kubernetes YAML file, guess what? You're already doing this. You don't tell Kubernetes how to create a pod step by step. You just declare what you want the end result to look like, and Kubernetes figures out the rest. So here they are, the 4 big principles from the OpenGitOps standard that create this awesome self-healing system. 1, the state is declarative. 2, it's versioned in Git, which gives you a perfect audit trail of every single change. 3, an agent inside the cluster automatically pulls this state. And 4, that agent is continuously reconciling. You know what that means? If someone goes and makes a manual change in the cluster, the agent just changes it right back. This is huge. It cuts down on so much stress and makes sure your system is always exactly how you defined it. Okay, KCNA exam takers, listen up. If you remember one thing from this section, make it this. CI/CD is push-based. GitOps is pull-based. I'm telling you, this concept is tested constantly. Getting this is absolutely crucial. And hey, if you want more tips like this to help you ace that exam, you should probably subscribe, because we're about to dive into the tools that make all this happen. So how do you actually do all this? How do you implement this powerful pull-based model? Well, let's take a look at the modern GitOps toolkit, and we'll focus on the key CNCF projects that make it all a reality.
In the GitOps world, the two heavyweights are definitely Argo CD and Flux. Now, Argo CD is a CNCF incubating project, and it's famous for its just beautiful and powerful web UI. It's awesome for teams who really want to visualize what's going on. Then you have Flux, a CNCF graduated project, and it's all about being a CLI-first toolkit. It's super powerful, super composable, and perfect for teams who live in the terminal and just want to automate everything. Honestly, the choice is pretty simple. Your team wants a UI? Go Argo CD. Your team prefers the CLI? Go Flux. You really can't go wrong with either one. Okay, so your GitOps tool needs something to actually deploy, and that's where configuration tools like Helm and Customize come into play. Think of Helm, it's a CNCF graduated project, as the apt-get or brew for Kubernetes. It uses these packages called charts to deploy complex, reusable apps. Customize, on the other hand, is actually built right into kubectl. It uses this really cool template-free overlay system to tweak a base configuration for all your different environments, like dev, staging, and prod. And here's a pro tip for you. You don't actually have to choose between them. In fact, a lot of elite teams use both. It's super common to use Helm to package and install third-party stuff, like a database, and then use Customize to layer your own environment-specific configurations right on top of it.
Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground, but you should now have the full picture of what it takes to go from those stressful manual deployments to the super fast automated world of elite engineering.
All right, let's do a super quick recap of the key takeaways. CICD automates the path to production, and it's a push model. GitOps makes Git your single source of truth, and it's a pull model. When you need a sync tool, think Argo CD for a great UI and Flux for a flexible CLI toolkit. And for configuration, Helm is for packaging apps, and Customize is for customizing your environments.
And just like that, you've done it. You now have all the knowledge you need for the fifth and final domain of the KCNA certification. Seriously, congratulations. If you feel like you're officially a GitOps believer, let me know in the comments. Just type GitOps believer and make sure you hit that subscribe button.
So the only real question left is, are you ready to go build your own unstoppable deployment machine? Because up next, we're dropping a bonus exam strategy guide to help you pass the KCNA on your very first try. You are not going to want to miss that.